obviously not ideal. Losing three straight Western Conference Finals, having a lot of people on the free agent block, and also having to hire a new head coach, which becomes Glenn Gulutzson. I don't know really what to think about it. I don't know if
Yeah, I was
he'll
gonna ask
move
you
the
what you
needle
thought.
over Pete DeBoer, but that's our head coach, and we can't do anything about it as fans. So, um, I think it's all right. I think that obviously the one thing that Edmonton had always killed on us in these last 2 years in the playoffs is special teams, and this guy is great with special teams and strengthening that. So I will say that that's a very good positive about it. He isn't somebody who has a high rank within hockey, I believe. Well, really, as a head coach, he got fired from the Stars 12 years ago, but didn't really have a talented roster. Now he does. Um, you re-sign Radek Faksa, which I think is a fantastic move for the Dallas Stars. You get a lot of those players back that were going in the free agency, Matt Duchene, Jamie Benn, um, and then Colin Blackwell was another one. But you lose a major piece of Macau Granlund to the Anaheim Ducks. Um, and you're still, you're still under the cap. You still got to find ways to move people. You got to imagine that a trade for Matt Dumba or Eli Labushkin is imminent at this point. But I mean, you gotta give something to get rid of them. You know, because
Right.
not a lot of people are really looking to take a right-handed defender with that kind of money who is underperforming. So really interesting spot. The Mavs and Stars are at the same spot where it's like, where do you improve this team? You need to improve the team, but where do you improve it? And how do you have to do addition by subtraction for both teams, Both of them are under the cap. Both still need to get better. Both still need to get, but both don't really have the resources to get better or that make those additions. So I don't know. Very interesting spot for the Stars. I would give them like a B for the offseason so far. If you're not going to sign many people, good on them for re-signing those people like Matt Duchene and Jamie Benning, making sure that they stay a Dallas Star. Obviously, both of them underperformed in the playoffs, but um, very good off or regular season people, and Jamie Benn, of course, kind of being the glue guy, the captain for so long.
It seems to be that most Stars fans kind of share your opinion about this head coach with the second stint that, it's not the exciting or sexy hire, but you'll just take it because you're a fan. I don't know what to think about this, to be honest. I don't know really much about Glenn Glucksman, but from what I saw, he said, he deserved to get fired. And he's trying to be accountable for what he had, 12 years ago. And like you were saying, by the looks of it, he didn't have nearly as talented of a roster that he's about to have with the Stars in these next few seasons. So I think we should all just be open to it. And I don't know if I still agree with them getting rid of Pete DeBoer because of that Game 7 record specifically, his track record as a head coach, but it's hard to keep a guy around when you lose three straight Western Conference Finals. So I know Jim Nill felt like it was probably time to make a move, and there's Glenn Glusman right there waiting in the wings.
Yeah, I mean, and hopefully, this is something that, hopefully they ran this through people like Jake Ottinger. I think that again, Jake Ottinger is a top 10 goalie in the league. You can argue that he's top five. Not a top five playoff goalie, in my opinion. He's been outplayed by Stuart Skinner 2 years in a row, which is very, very frustrating, but he's integral to this team. You're not replacing him with somebody better, really, at this point. And Jake Ottinger, I mean, you gotta make sure that he's happy. And obviously, that was a really, really big like sword to the chest for Jake Ottinger when Pete DeBoer took him out, and then didn't really defend him in the press conference afterwards. Kind of, defended himself instead of defending Ottinger, which of course was kind of, I think, in what was the reason why he got fired, obviously.
Mm.
But hopefully Jake Onger agrees with this. I don't think it matters what the fans want. I think it really matters what the team wants. And you think about, how they re-signed Duchene and Jamie Benn before they even got Glenn Gulutzon as the head coach, which shows that they really care about this culture. But hopefully, some of these people that are coming back, some of these people that are staying, one of them being the most important, Jake Oettinger, agreed with this move. Hopefully they talked to, Jim Neal talked to them and wanted to see what they thought. And hopefully they agreed with it. That's what we want, You want the players to be happy, um, especially with their head coach, because that's who's going to make them their money. That's who's going to start them. That's who's going to play them, map out their rotation and stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything you said, honestly. It's about the players, man. If you don't have a good, circle of the roster that supports, a GM like Jim Neal, you're gonna lose these guys really fast. And you lose the locker room. As long as these guys stay together, I'm not holding out hope for what the Stars can do down the line. They still are gonna have a great roster. Again, we don't know who else is going to be out of here, but the draft just happened. I'm sure the draft picks are pretty good and good selections from Jim Nill, but a new regime here in Dallas, and it's going to be different not talking about Pete DeBoer, but I think the team will still be good. They'll find a way to hang in there.
Yeah, and hopefully they can get a physical right-handed defensive man for the rest of the offseason. That's their main goal right now, obviously, and offloading either Matt Dumba or Luke Bushkin, or if they're lucky, even both, because
Hmm.
that's probably the ideal situation for them, especially since they re-signed Nils Lundqvist. Yeah, I mean, I also like the Faksa signing for the physicality factor that the Stars need. They need to get more physical. That is a big, big thing, and Faksa brings that back to the Stars with his comeback and his face-off percentage is obviously off the charts and his defensive mindset. Love Faksa being back. I missed him.